One of the really fun things we've gotten to do over the last 12 or so years is in historic house restoration. We were asked to reproduce turnings and other decorative elements for these 4 houses. So let's move on and take a look. This is a house in East Nashville that was built about 1890. What's especially neat is the architect was Hugh Cathcart Thompson, who designed the Ryman Auditorium, original home of the Grand Ole Opry. Sometime in 2004, it was rescued from disrepair by a local contractor. Most of the work we did was on this porch, which was missing at the start of the project. But we also did some work inside. So let's take a look at that first. This great stairway is the first thing you see when you walk in. You might have turned a baluster or two on this entrance level, and we might have turned a drop finial or two also. Another thing we did was the little acorn appliques. A whole bunch of them were missing. We probably had to make 40 or 50 of them. On the second floor landing, we turned this newel in the foreground right here. We also turned about 25 or 30 more of these balusters for this run. And the split newel back there against the wall. And here's another place that was missing those little acorn appliques. Let's go outside now and take a look at the porch. This porch was completely missing. The contractor restored it from an old picture and what was left of the footprint in the ground. We turned 9 full posts and the 2 split posts at each end. The posts measured 6 inches diameter by about 9.5 feet long. And this bulbous section makes them pretty unique. It measured about 10 inches in diameter. Then there are the balustrades. They're made up of quite a few different elements, which makes them pretty cool. Overhead, there are these little spaceship turnings, inspired by alien influences, perhaps. For each balustrade section, we made 4 4x4 turn posts, 12 spool balusters, and 3 abbreviated 4x4 posts. I think we made about 70 of these little flying saucer turnings. So that was one of our East Nashville adventures. If you're in that area, you can't miss it. This is a nice old house on a street with quite a few other houses from roughly the same time period, probably circa 1880. Great place to watch the fireworks from, by the way. The porch on this one was also missing, but the client had this great old picture of the way it used to be years ago. In the fall of 2011, the contractor asked us to reproduce the posts and various other turnings and several pieces of decorative trim. We turned 25 or 30 of these upper turnings. We also made both types of the corbels in this shot. Down below, we turned the balusters and provided the square rail filler pieces. Posts were about 6 inches by about 10 feet long. We turned 5 of them. We also turned this half post for the entryway. So we had some fun getting this house back to its original exterior. Here's another time when we say, I love my job. Way back in 2000, the Rosine Project finally got funding to restore the boyhood home of Bill Monroe, the father of bluegrass. This house was just months from becoming unrecoverable from the ravages of time. And again, this porch was completely missing, but this time there was no picture. So a little design research expertise was brought to bear on the project. The contractor asked us to reproduce this design for the posts, which was based on the regional design vernacular of the time period. They're 5.5 inches by about 9 feet. We turned 7 in all and split one for the ends. This trim piece was fairly common at that time, although I think some latitude was taken with the mandolin shape. This sausage and bead combination has been used in different configurations many times. We made up 15 sets of these corner decorations from little turnings and scroll work we cut. All in all, this post and bracket combination is a pretty effective approximation of the way this house would have looked many years ago. And look at this. There's a light in the window, the source of inspiration for the Bill Monroe song, I'm on my way back to the old home. Pretty neat. Well, we were just delighted to be included as a subcontractor on a project with a history like this. It was certainly once in a lifetime. And hey, we'd like to believe Mr. Monroe's sitting right there playing some mandolin. So here you are driving along this backcountry road on the border of Kentucky and Tennessee. You come around a bend and here it is, one of the last antebellum mansions built. This has been another fun project, and I'm not sure we're finished yet. Back in 2000, we were contacted by the owner to provide turnings for wherever they were needed. Almost all the details of this house are massive and very impressive. We've turned many of these giant-sized balusters for the porch railings. This reverse painted window is over the entry door. You don't see those every day. Plaster work like this is everywhere in this house, and it's actually survived fairly well. And you gotta love this great double stairway. There's another mantel just like this on the other side of this wall. We restored one of them. It was burnt at the base by an out-of-control fireplace fire. And here we're out on the back porch. We turned all these 3-inch balusters, about 60 of them. Despite the awesome amount of work these folks have done, there's still more to do. But such is the life of a mansion owner. Hope you've enjoyed this tour of some of Rosewalker's historic restoration projects.